Hey, fantastic fam. Welcome to our community where we combine the woo and the work. We are two professional women who believe we can have it all and constantly upgrade ourselves to meet our visions. I'm Kalyani and I've chosen the off-roading path to personal development, being an entrepreneur with the journey of motherhood. I'm an economics postgraduate and I love working with all things mind and money. I've founded and sold one business and I'm now building this business that feels like fun and freedom for life.
Hi, I'm Rupali. I'm a numbers nerd turned Reiki master and many other things. I found a passion for all things wellness. I've worked in banking and finance for 15 years and I love combining that knowledge with all things energetics to create impact in a fun, easy way for others. Join us as we share the behind the scenes of us creating wealth, freedom and magic.
In the case of all of us who I'm talking about at this point, we are surrounded by abundance, but we still feel the lack. So at some level, this is coming from some sort of a misalignment with either your personal values versus what you're looking to spend on or what you actually value in life. So this is one kind of scenario or one thing that needs to be tackled. The other thing that needs to be tackled is if there is a lot of money and abundance around you and you're still feeling a lack, then there is definitely a disconnect between your present reality and where you are in your mind. What I mean to say is, what I'm trying to get to is that our minds are so rooted in the patterns that they've seen in the past. So in the past, it may have been a pattern that money comes in your life and then it goes out as easily. I often hear in my coaching that I'm good with earning money, but I can't keep it very easily. A lot of the times, if you see any healers or even astrologers back in India, they'd say these general things that, you find keeping money is very difficult for you. And a big majority of people tend to agree with them because that is the reality for a lot of people. So if you have any of these patterns, or I'm not good with money, which is if I had a jar for every time I put a penny into for every client repeating this statement, I would have a lot of money to maybe put into my investments. But basically, any of these beliefs that you hear yourself repeat in your minds are coming from past patterns. Our minds or our reality by the age of 35, they say, is 80% operating from what's happened in the past, which means 80% of what's happening around us has been programmed in the past, which means we need to spend a little more time. We need to give the present reality a little more push to stop operating from what's happened in the past. What's happened in the past could have happened 30 years ago, however old you are, but basically up till the age of 7 is when they say all the patterns tend to set in for us. So anything that's happened up till that age could be repeating in your life on and on until the learning has been integrated in your lives, and you may be seeing one aspect of that pattern repeat in whatever challenges you face today. So there needs to be a bigger push in your present reality to break away from what's happened in the past. And this can be done either in terms of spending time to reprogram your mind, or simply just having a single-minded focus towards the commitment to change this. What I mean by that is, instead of having this kind of conditioning or belief that you need to sit down for 3-4 hours doing journaling, meditation, having a specific incense lit in the corner, sitting in a certain posture, etc., and then feeling overwhelmed by all of this, you could simply just set an intention for the next 90 days, let's say 21 days, 42 days, whatever number is natural for you to commit to be a focused period of time where you're going to pivot all your lack thoughts towards abundance thoughts. The way this plays out in reality would be, let's say you end up at Spinneys or Waitrose instead of Carrefour. And in Dubai, these supermarkets generally tend to have a perception of being pricier than Carrefour or a Lulu, etc. And if you have things that you need to pick up, and you are holding yourself back thinking that this is a pricier supermarket, and I'm only going to pick up what I really need today. I'm not going to pick up other things, even though I like the look of them. Instead, what if you could simply allow yourself to pick up one or two of these things that you like? Because you would have ended up paying about 10 to 15 dirhams extra versus another supermarket, even if the perception of of Waitrose being pricier was right. It hasn't been proven. It is very much a perception-based thing. But even if this was right, on each product, the markup isn't so high. So let's say if you allow yourself to pick two products that really call out to you, that you think you're going to really enjoy and value, then the 10-15 dirhams is a small price to pay for that, right? That's one thing you can do in terms of setting your nervous system up for allowing yourself to make slightly more abundant and expansive decisions. The other thing that you could do, if you were truly strapped for cash and you didn't want to even give yourself the luxury of spending these small extra amounts here and there, simply just observe abundance around you and be very thankful of having this abundance around you instead of being jealous, bitter, judgmental about it. So if you have family or friends who are well off and they have nice houses, nice cars, whatever else that you value and notice them having, then instead of thinking, oh, they've done X, Y, and Z, which I haven't done, or they were helped by their circumstances, they have family money, which I don't have, all of these judgments, they have this, always have a split part of the statement which goes to say that you don't have it, right? So it always comes back to lack. If you're jealous of someone else having flexibility, it always goes back to, oh my God, that means I don't have it and I'm operating from that lack. What happens is that when it keeps coming back to lack, the universe sees you vibrating in that lack energy constantly. If you're not spending the extra amount, let's say in my example of ending up in a Waitrose, the universe does not see the 100 dirhams you actually spend. The energy, because the predominant energy and focus was on the 15 dirhams that you chose not to spend, because you instead would drive to a cheaper supermarket to find something that would save you that small amount of money while not valuing your own time to drive there, look for things, etc., etc. Your energy is very much rooted in the lack. Agreed? So in these scenarios, when you're operating from a predominant energy of lack, the pattern that's going to keep repeating around you is of lack. So, like I was saying, you start observing abundance around you and being grateful instead of being judgmental, instead of being jealous about these abundant situations. You could also simply just observe abundance around you in terms of nature. So go for frequent walks. The weather's going to be very nice in Dubai, in the region soon. So observe the abundance of fresh air. Observe the abundance of trees. Observe the abundance of grass. Observe the abundance of sand. Observe the abundance of the sea. All of this which is available to us easily and is not at a cost, does not need any maintenance. Observe the amount of abundance of breaths that we're taking. We're taking all of that for granted. Our bodily functions that are operating so smoothly without our knowledge, without any hard work, without any effort from our side. All of that we take for granted and is so important and essential to our functioning is happening for us so naturally. And this is very reassuring, and it should bring you back. It for me at least, let me talk about myself, it always brings me back to feeling very supported. And once you're feeling supported, automatically the charge from the lack mindset or the charge from the desperation sort of mindset in terms of when will I have this? It's been so long. By this age, I should have had this. Once all of that dissipates and you end up at a clean slate point, at a point of being neutral, is when your manifestations start rolling in. Is when the universe kind of sees you being set at a different energy point and different things start happening. Let me record about how to kind of channel all of that in a separate episode. But that's that for today. Let me know in the show, in the review feedback kind of section, what your thoughts were on this curious case of everyone around us who is so surrounded by abundance but still feeling such a sense of lack. Thank you. Bye.
We would really appreciate your feedback as reviews on the podcast app you tune in from. Support us also by sharing this podcast with 3 of your besties who would benefit from being fantastic.